Shit, that just filming me doing nothing. That's weird. Alright guys, welcome back to the remote cycle garage, the tiny shithole that is my garage. Today we're going to be fighting for space to try and get the last little job done in this frame before I clear off again for 3 weeks or so. So, clear a little bit of space here, get a few 10As, a little bit of lathe action as well, but we'll get, ultimately today's job is to get the bushings made for fitting the side panels. So, let me get the tripod set up, this will be easy. Oh my god. Right, 2 seconds. Oh, what a pain in the hole this is. Right. Okay, so, anyone that saw my last video, which was not the last one but the one before that, I made some side panels. These have been an absolute saga to get these right, but now I'm able to repeat these quite easily, so I've made a set for this bike as well. The most difficult thing is though getting these mounted properly. So what I was thinking was, instead of using the methodology that I was using on the other bike, which was different because of battery box constraints and everything, I'm thinking what I'll do is change this up a little bit. So I'm not as arsed on this build as to whether you see any points on the frame coming off to help mount this, but what I think is a neat solution is I'm going to have my battery box in here that's going to get secured down. It's going to be removable, but it can come in and out from one side here. Alright, so what I think I'm going to do is, I've already been playing on the lathe to make this little jabby thing. I think what I'll do is I'll use this, cut this to size, just tack this to the corner of here. Hopefully you can see this. I can't see a goddamn thing. Tack this to the corner of here, so I've got like a bit that's kind of going to stick into here. Ooh. Somewhere I'll get a bit of metal and rivet it to here, and then this will line up, and I'll have this fit through a rubber grommet. God, words are hard. And that in itself should help locate the lower point and help support that and keep that in situ. Then, hopefully people aren't getting too ill. Then, what I'm thinking is, I shall make a couple of, I shall turn down a couple of mounts that come down from the bottom half of the frame, and I'll weld these on. And what that'll do is I'll cut C-sections out of here with rubber grommets, so that I can then just put that bottom bit in, that's going to be restrained, and then I'll slide that in, and that keeps this here. And then hopefully we have a side panel that's mounted, that's held pretty rigidly, that doesn't want to judder off and fall off mid-ride. So that's going to be a bit of work on the lathe. I've got the lathe set up behind me, so not really used one much before, but I have tinkered about on it, so we'll get that set up. And I think what I'll do is, I know how wide these are going to be, so instead of trying to weld this in situ, I think what I'd rather do is, because I still need to make the little side bits for this as well to mount to, I'd rather just So I'm just thinking, the good thing about having a bike on all 4 wheels is you can kind of tell when it's completely level and get a nice datum point to line everything up to, for example this battery box. But it's coming to a point now where, well, I'm fucking, look at the space, there's none of it. So I'm quickly running out of space in this little garage, so the quicker I can get this bike stripped down, and the easier it would be to weld things. I don't know. Let me make these bits first. I might be able to tack them in place. If I can tack them in place on one side, then it's pretty easy to try and mimic what I want to do on the other side. But at least with the battery box, I can kind of finish off that little jabby pole thing and get that mounted on. So yeah, that's the gist really. So few tinnies, let's get after it. Sounds fun. Well, sounds fun to me on 5 o'clock on a Saturday night when I should be cooking steaks, but needs must, eh? Please kill me. This is giving me anxiety even just sat here. I was at my friend's workshop the other day, and it's absolutely massive, and it's got a 2-post and 4-post ramp, and it's got hundreds of equipment, and yeah, it was a pretty cool place to be. Here, as much as this garage has served me well, it's also very tight and space constrained, and I would really like to move at some point and get somewhere bigger, but until that happens, we're stuck here making videos, getting pissed on by this leaky roof and freezing my balls off in this garage. Right, so first things first. Oh god, that's good. Great garage beer, that. It's like grapefruit radler. It's really low. I think I sang its praises a few last year when I was a functional alcoholic during lockdown, but less said about that the better. Anyway, right, so first things first, we need to get these even. It's quite an unusual shape. All I did initially was try and get as straight as I could by getting masking tape and taking a line. Not that kind of line. And then I traced this, and this will give me, I guess, a point of reference to the lowest point on the frame. So I've gone all the way around, so there's a bit further chopping to do. I don't really want to be going much more than what that line is, so then I thought, right, how do I get this matched onto the other side to get it rough and ready at least, and what I came up with was like, we'll just place these next to each other and try and just trace a line across, which will get me pretty close, and then it'll be a case of cutting that off, getting some measurements, and we will have 2 nice side panels. So that is kind of taking care of itself. It's really dark and cold outside, so I can't really be asked cutting the other one right now, but that's my thought process with that, and I will do that before I go away. So next is get the steel. So this is what I was thinking. I just tried a little model, cut a grommet in half. Looks pretty shitty, to be honest, but cut a grommet in half. I've got a pack of grommets. So this was the one I was thinking for that first bit, Mr. Stabby bit. Where's he gone? Yeah. Ooh. I feel this is quite an interactive video today. Right, that has to go through, and that's kind of held in place, so that's quite a nice tight fit. So that should be for the bottom one. Ideally I might even like to see it tighter than that. But I've used all the grommets that I think I have, so we'll play about. That was just me playing about with that shape. Might have some other ideas, but we can go set up the lathe. Actually, I'll show you quickly. I've already kind of made one bit on the lathe. God, can you see that? It looks like it's gone blurry. And that's what I was envisaging. Just having this kind of, if you imagine that a bit neater, but C-channels cut out on the top of the fiberglass. I need to get rid of this stupid goddamn thing. Right. Why is this not? There we go. Right. We have these types of C-channels or U-shapes cut out on either side. Then we've got something that we can push in. The grommets is just an idea. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but so yeah, plan for today is cut out those bits in the lathe, maybe get them tacked in, we'll see. At least one on one side, then I have a reference point, and then get the other bits put on the battery box. I'm conscious that it's quite getting on a Saturday night and I need to see my girlfriend, but also whether I can put these bits on, a bit on the bottom, like a, in fact, I'm going to do that now. That's an easy bit. These are countersunk rivets, which means they're nice and flush, so you can just put shit over them and make the hole go away. Make the whole problem go away. But they're a pain in the hole. Woo! Alright, number 3. I've got quite a good grip, not gonna lie. This is tough. Pretty good hold. So, hopefully people are following me on this one. So when I put this back on the bike, I'll have a point somewhere that I'll just mark with this, and then I'll be able to get that lined up quite nicely. So, what I think I'll do, it's kind of, I guess it's the, never mind, ignore me. Pretzel Pete's tasty pretzel snacks. Oh. Right, so Mr. Stabby Pointy Stick is not good enough for me, which is fine because this was literally just a trial. So what these 2 grommets that I have left, Christ, these are going to be hard to get. What I like about these is they've got quite a bit of surface area on them, so yeah, the hole that these need to go in will be slightly bigger. But that means, even though this is fine, I'd rather this was slightly bigger. This is 7.94 or something, I think it says in the box. This is 8mm rod. I've actually got some 10mm rod I think would be better, because it means that the nib will have to deform this, and then it's harder to get it out again because it's going to be bigger and it's going to keep it in. So I've got some 10mm rod over there, nothing special. I've actually got some machining steel, but I'm going to keep that for these other bits. But the 10mm rod, I'm just going to cut now, and then we'll chuck it over to the lathe, and then we'll go to the lathe and have some fun. I'm going to go, yeah, let's do that. Sorry, side note, there's a lot of people using fireworks tonight. What? So this is maybe a bit of a weird thing that happened this week, which is probably why I feel quite charged emotionally by it. But guy was walking his dog, and the fireworks, someone let off a firework on the beach, on a random night, not even close to bonfire night, but whatever, and the dog got scared and ran into the sea, and the man went in to try and get the dog, and cue 3-hour operation to try and rescue them, and both of them died, which is absolutely horrific. I think if Rufus went into the sea, I would just leave him. I probably wouldn't. You don't really know what you do in that situation, but absolutely awful story. Brings me back to people buying fireworks. Why do you give a shit unless you're paying like thousands of pounds to get good fireworks, which most of these scumbags aren't. You're just gonna sit in your back garden and let off a shitty firework. I apologise, I know there's people that like doing this, as do one of my close friends, but like, who cares? Anyway, back to this lathe. Comments below. Right, I've actually got a boring bar on, which don't really need on, just not a boring bar. What do you call it? You know, the old thing, the old parting thing. Oh, no, take that off. Right. This is going to need some tinkering with. Bear with me. Okay, this lathe needs, yes, a bit of fine tuning. Maybe that was quite a hard ask for it. To try and take the play out of this top bit means that this bit becomes almost impossible to move. It seems to want to push the tool out the way, which isn't ideal, but we've got some kind of 30-degree chamfer on this, so I think what I'm going to do now is just come across the way and take this down to with the diameter that I need it, which is probably going to be 9mm, I think, so it's got a bit of squeeze to get in, but we'll go and do that now. Take that past about yeah, just shy of the chuck, and then we'll see how we get on. They change the battery in this piece of shit as well. Yes, that's good. That's a nice fit. Let's go have a look, show you what I'm talking about. It's going to sit like that. Obviously the mudguard will be, sorry, the fender. Fender? Christ, what's this thing called? Side panel. Will be mounted directly onto this. So, nice. I need to make one for the other side. So I shall go do that off camera. Actually, I kind of want to see what this looks like. The reason I can do this now is because this is free moving on the battery box. So I kind of want to see what this looks like. I reckon I need a 14mm hole to get this bung in, which is fine. So, and I'm going to place it pretty central. So we go here, Nice. That's pretty cool. I'm chuffed with that. God, these fireworks are unreal, but this this memory stick says I only have 3 minutes 26 left of recording, which is kind of depressing. So I'm going to make the other one of this off cam. I'm probably going to make the other 2 bits as well, and I'll pick this up in the morning and we'll try and get them fitted to the bike before I go. I'm going down to a gig tomorrow, but that's awesome. I'm happy with that. Progress. Morning. I've done the first cardinal sin in lathe tooling, trying to make a repeat part for this, and that's just too loose for me. That's what she said. So I'm gonna remake this a little bit. Yay! Never get rid of more than something. Ah well, good practice. Alright, I want to talk you through I got another one made, so that was fine. Job's a good one. I want to talk you through my thought process here for mounting these top bits. So, I don't really know the right solution here. Initially I was thinking, let's just have like 2 bits coming down the way with a shoulder. Don't worry about this tip bit. It was actually going to be like this kind of design that just kind of hung down the way, welded to the bottom of the frame. But that got me thinking, it's not going to be as secure at the top because they're going to have to cut a U-channel in here. Nice. You have to cut a U-channel in here to then allow, and then have some rubber channeling in here and then hold it all tight. It could work. Well, what I was thinking was, I've got these little bits here. It's 8mm steel, so this might be quite difficult to do, but I was wondering if I could just heat this up and put it on a 90-degree angle, then have it sat here, poking out the way, and then I would just have the same reference bracket somewhere in here. So then I just drill a hole in, and then the whole thing's kind of secured from that plane rather than one in the middle and 2 from the top. So I'm going to go and heat this up now and see if I can rotate this. The thing is, it needs to be bent really close to here, like probably here. And then the next thing is trying to get it mounted on the frame, trying to find a point in the frame, but I think that could look quite neat, to be honest. So I'm going to go and try and heat this up now and then see what that looks like. So I've got my map gas. I need to find a little thingy for it, the burner. Being as well organised as I am, should be in this drawer. Piss. Should be in this drawer. Piss. Yeah, there it is. Let's give it a wee try. I think this could work. I need to, because of the way the frame is, the front one may have to be slightly longer, just for the position, but I think this could work, to be honest. So we're just gonna go in like that, wherever that mounting point needs to be, with a similar kind of grommet. Not this one, smaller grommet, but this is 8mm OD, so if I get a grommet that's like for 7mm or 6.5mm, which I think there is, I've just used them all in this box, but that could be pretty cool. So I think what I'm going to do is make another one of these. I'll probably cut this one about here, make another one of these identical for the other side, and then think about how, yeah, the longer ones need to be. I'll report back once I've done all these bits. But it would be nice to get all these bits made, because that's kind of the last thing this frame needs, because I'm putting stock pegs and everything back on. I think that's everything this frame needs, so, which is kind of exciting, because it means the next bit is going to be take it apart, get it sent away for powder coating and all that kind of shit, and painting. And now I've had a thought, side discussion. I'm going to start mounting that up in my counter for the amount of times I go off piece. But anyway, colours for the bike. So this bike was called, oh, I didn't really have a name. Piece of shit cheap bike isn't really an appropriate name. However, I think I mentioned before some of the issues with this bike lie in getting its V5. So originally on the V5 it is red, which I don't really want to go and paint red, or I'll paint the minimum amount red if I can. So what I'm thinking is, frame's going to go silver, because that's quite an unusual colour for a bike. You don't see a lot of silver frames, it's usually black. So silver frame, and because of what happened, and Alan from Kilt Bushido Builds gave me this idea, we're going to call it Phoenix, because I set it on fire and it's now rising from the ashes. So, thinking, first port of call will be get the bottom half of the bike all prepped, like so, silver frame, probably the engine, I'm just going to do silver as well. Wheels I'm not entirely sure yet, maybe black, but need to start building in some kind of phoenixy type theme. So I was thinking orange is in there, kind of like the fire element. So the first port of call, the tank will probably just get a real cheap shitty coat of red on it, so I can get my V5 again. But then I think I'll pay for a good, if all that works out well and the bike looks good, I'll pay for a good paint job by the guy that did the scrambler, and TVR do this awesome paint, chameleon orange I think it's called. I could see myself with that on a bike. I think it would be quite cool, but maybe with like a matte lacquer instead. So yeah, start thinking about what colours and everything I want. Initially silver frame, silver, maybe black engine, silver engine. Maybe that's going to be overkill, I don't really know, but I saw that paint and I thought, I think I need to have that on a bike at some point. So side discussion over, I'm going to get in the lathe, make a few more of these and report back shortly. No, that was not intentional. Let's get away from that Nazi sign. So, I've made fucking helicopters. Anyway, I've made 4 little mounting points. I think these will be suitable. They're all pretty similar size. I decided actually I think I can get away with them being all the same size. The next difficult bit is going to be getting them. Right, side rant. Imagine you're a snowboarder or some kind of extreme sports athlete, and you go, oh, I'll take my GoPro with its fully charged batteries. Oh wait, it's slightly less than 0 degrees. Cool, therefore my batteries won't bloody work. Imagine how pissed off you'd be. I'm raging, I'm in the garage, I'm doing pretty boring crap that I can easily refilm it, but imagine stuff you've got one take, and then for some reason the GoPro just shits itself for no apparent reason because, oh, it's cold outside, or I've got 40% battery and I can't be asked anymore. It's so frustrating. If anyone else has got a GoPro, let me know. This is a 9 with the media mod, and for the most part it's alright, apart from the batteries are absolutely horrific. I think I go through about 3 or 4 batteries every time I come out here, which is just action sports camera. Imagine you were doing something meaningful and then the main reason it wasn't captured is because the piece of shit action sports camera didn't actually do its job that it was meant to do. Anyway. So, what I was saying is, I need to try and get these mounted somehow, which is going to be really fun because, trust me, I think this will be awesome in the long run once this works, because I'm going to have some real cool mounting points. But biggest thing I noticed with this is, right, see if we can get the camera in here. So I need to get this the way I want it. It doesn't actually sit flush with this bit here. Because of the angle that I would like. I would put this flush. I would put this flush. It just doesn't really work. So I can either bend this metal slightly, which is going to be quite difficult to do because it's now held in with rivets. I could shear the rivets off, or I could just grind a bit off here and weld this so it kind of pokes up at an angle when it comes to weld it. So, for God's sake, weld it like, oh my God, weld it up like that, and just go with it that way. Make sure it's oriented correctly. So, I'm not really sure yet. I need to have a bit of a think. I also think yeah, this will be a lot of pondering to try and get this right, but I think it'll be worth it. But so what I'm thinking is for here, same idea with a grommet, and it'll just go boop in there, boop in there, and that's probably better than the other way that I manufactured for the other bike, which isn't finished, which we're not going to talk about because reasons. So I think, yeah, that's probably the best way to do that. Okay, my issue now is I'm going to go down to Glasgow for a gig. Anyone like Architects or Biffy Clyro, hit me a like or some shit like that, or a comment below. But I'm going to go see them tonight, which means I need to leave in about half an hour, which means I don't really have time to take that out, grind the frame down, get nice welding points, try and mount that, make 2 additional bits to go on here to then mount that, and then make sure that we're happy before we go into the other side. So unfortunately, even though at the start of this video I said this is probably the last frame video, it probably will be the last frame video because camera slows me down a bit, just a bit. So I think what I'll do is I'll catch you up on the next video once all this is done, show you how I did it, but there's no point in me filming it because it's just gonna, yeah, I'll show you what I've done, I'll run you through it. So I need to now, I think that's the lathe work over, so I need to try and find some space in the garage for the lathe to go. I also need to, yeah, just generally have a bit of a clear out and make sure I've got enough room to get after this. But the plan will be get those bits welded in. I'll show you what I'm thinking for the other bit. This isn't very neat. I'm actually almost tempted to cut this off and remake these, but I'll have essentially I've double this, one of which is mounted to the frame with a riv nut on the back, and then these that'll then just have a through hole and a bolt to kind of tie into the riv nut, and that'll keep this nice. It's quite janky when you see it. It will do fine, you never see it. I need to start taking that methodology a bit better. But so then I need to finish those mounting points and yeah, get the engine out, the frame. And that's also why I need to create space. I'll put the engine here behind me, then I can get the frame on there and I can start welding up the frame. And then once the frame's done, I think I will get that sent off for vapor blasting. Should I keep the steering lock? I don't know, I'm just looking at that there. Probably not doing any harm seeing as I'm keeping the stock tank, so I might just keep the steering lock. Whether I have a key or not that works though is a different story, so think about that. Tidy up the welds, get the bits that I couldn't get before. Oh cool, wasp. I think you're all gone, die! Die! So after that I'll be looking at purchasing an X21 unit, getting this painted or powder coated, getting this painted or powder coated, frame painted silver. I might try that myself because why the hell not. And yeah, tank, I've got a quote for a tank to get vapor blasted, and then I can just put the tank on. I'll get that grey primered. I would probably like to paint that myself with the red or whatever I'm going to go back to get the DVLA. Is that stupid? Will the DVLA, do they need to see the original colour before they'll give me a V5? I'll maybe speak to them. Probably the internet's not the greatest source for what to do, but anyone got any experience of that, please let me know. Wheels need to get powder coated. What wheels am I going to use? The gold ones or the ones with the funky tyres? I might actually use the one with the funky tyres in the meantime because they're quite cool. And yeah, we'll just keep pressing on, but progress. That's good progress. That was a fiddly job that I knew I was putting off, so I feel like I've made a good dent in it. Yes, it's not finished, but I'll get it finished. Just unfortunately, like usual, time is running out. I think that Muse song. Anyway, if you like what you saw, leave a comment. Any comments, please leave comments and stuff and that and things, and subscribe, and I will catch you in a month probably by the time I'm back and done more stuff. So take it easy guys, have a good one, see you soon.